So the archaeology collections here at MSU are curated collaboratively between the MSU Museum and the Department of Anthropology. The collections themselves number over 1 million objects, both pre-contact as well as post-contact historic materials.
Our collections are housed in McDonald Hall. It's primarily a dorm, but it's also home to the Consortium for Archaeological Research, which is under the purview of the Anthropology Department. And so a lot of the anthropology faculty, graduate students, undergrads will come to the consortium and then use the collections in their research and teaching.
I teach both Introduction to Archaeology and North American Archaeology, and the collections in our teaching collection are actually a really great experience for students to be able to get hands-on experience with material culture.
What's really awesome about learning it here is that a lot of the universities I've been to, they don't have the collections right on campus. So I get to learn within the anthropology department what it's like to work in a museum context, or what it's like to work in a museum setting with the collections, and how to properly maintain collections, and how to, obviously treat the objects with respect.
Archaeological collections are really unique in that they are a source of preservation. Our job is to preserve archaeological materials for the future, for future researchers, because archaeology is fundamentally a destructive process. Once you excavate a site, the site is absolutely gone. So you have to squeeze it for as much data as humanly possible and keep as high a quality of records as humanly possible.
NAGPRA stands for the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. It is federal legislation that requires any institution that receives federal funding to do an inventory of their collections and make note of any Native American cultural heritage that might be sensitive that should get returned back to the tribes. As of right now, we have returned every single Native American ancestor from Michigan to the appropriate tribes. However, NAGPRA compliance is never actually done. We are constantly auditing our collections for any sensitive objects that might have been missed the first round. We are constantly collaborating and consulting with our tribal partners to ensure ethical stewardship of the collections that we do have.
So in my lab, we digitize collections using either structured light scanning or photogrammetry, which are two of the major ways that you generate 3D models from physical objects. These are things that students don't normally have access to on a day-to-day basis. I also have a suite of 3D printers that are associated with my lab, where you can actually generate reproductions.
These artifacts came from the Saints Rest site, and it was the first excavation that campus archaeology undertook. And so here we have some stove legs from an iron stove, along with some other ceramics and glass. And these are important because they really tell the rich history of MSU's past and how the students lived, their daily activities. And so they're really important just to tell the history and heritage of MSU.
We are all incredibly fortunate to have the collections here. There are a lot of places that don't have collections, and being able to have this incredibly rich source of materials for research for faculty here at MSU, for graduate students here, and for me personally, I simply wouldn't be able to do my work without the collections here.